During his first official trip to Asia, President Biden told reporters the U.S. would respond militarily if China were to invade Taiwan. The comment is drawing criticism as the U.S. has traditionally avoided making security commitments about Taiwan. CBS News chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes is traveling with the president and has more from Tokyo.
They're already flirting with danger right now.
It wasn't just what the president said, but where he said it. In Japan, not far away from China or Taiwan.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made.
Those comments were a sharp departure from the decades-long U.S. policy of, quote, strategic ambiguity when it comes to Taiwan, a self-governed island that China views as its territory.
午後に行われた会合で
Within minutes, Mr. Biden's warning had ricocheted around the world and across the Sea of Japan. A top Chinese spokesman urged the U.S. to be prudent in its stance on the Taiwan issue and refrain from sending the wrong signals to Taiwan independence separatist forces. This isn't the first time Mr. Biden has vowed to protect Taiwan.
Yes, we have a commitment.
Each time, the White House has tried to walk his comments back. Today, they insisted our policy has not changed and that the president is simply committed to provide Taiwan with the military means to defend itself, as he has in Ukraine. Fears of a Chinese takeover of Taiwan have grown after its crackdown in Hong Kong. The day President Biden arrived in Asia last week, China sent 14 warplanes into Taiwan's air defense zone.
But the idea that it can be taken by force, just taken by force, is just not appropriate. It will dislocate the entire region and be another action similar to what happened in Ukraine.
President Biden added that he doesn't expect China to invade Taiwan after Russia was ostracized for invading Ukraine. Between his assertions and the White House walkback, it's still unclear whether the U.S. truly is prepared to engage in a military conflict with the world's second largest superpower. Lana?
Nancy, thank you very much. For more now, let's bring in Dan Blumenthal. He is a senior fellow and the director of Asian Studies at the American Enterprise Institute. Dan, thanks for being here. Give us some background. Explain why Taiwan is so important to the U.S.
It's so important to the United States because of where it's located, right near Japan, and we have a treaty with Japan to defend Japan. If China takes Taiwan, our ability to defend Japan and therefore our forward defense posture in Asia will be gravely damaged.
As you heard Nancy reporting, a White House official says that the United States policy towards Taiwan has not changed. They cited the Taiwan Relations Act dating back to 1979. Tell us, Dan, what does this act include? And do you hear the president's comments as a departure from established policy?
I don't see it as a departure from established policy. The Taiwan Relations Act is not only a commitment to help Taiwan defend itself, but to maintain our own capacity to help Taiwan resist coercion. So there's enough in there that has always been the case that basically says we can decide to defend Taiwan militarily. And because China has been beating the war drums, I think President Biden rightfully has told them, look, don't do this. We have a commitment, and we will. It's necessary for me to repeat that commitment right now.
What are the commitments that the U.S. has in terms of either what it has already provided militarily to Taiwan or what it would provide if China were to invade?
Under the Taiwan Relations Act, it has commitments to provide Taiwan with all the adequate self-defense needs. That's the language of the act that Taiwan says it needs. And that is based very clearly, and this goes back to President Reagan and presidents after him. It's based very clearly on the threat that China poses. So what we do is we look at the threat China poses to Taiwan, and we make our decisions based on what Taiwan asks for and what we think will deter China from attacking Taiwan.
Well, President Biden also said that it was his, quote, expectation that China would not try to seize control of Taiwan by force. Do you agree?
Well, I think if we make commitments like this, I mean, the thing we want to avoid is a Ukraine type situation where we made no military commitment and then we have a war. Sure, we're helping the Ukrainians now, but it's a devastating war. I think we have to make very clear to the Chinese not to start this war. We have a military and a political commitment, and we will meet it. And we will also help Taiwan defend itself. That's how we'll avoid war at this time. If China thinks that it can take Taiwan through force, it will take Taiwan through force.
So as I'm hearing you, Dan, you're saying that you believe that the president's comments help to ensure that military action is less necessary than if he had said nothing.
Well, not by themselves. He has to take a number of other actions to back up what he said. He has to put more resources, defense resources, into the Pacific. He has to coordinate better with Taiwan's military. He has to do a number of things to back up those words. But those words are helpful to tell China, don't do it. Just don't attack Taiwan. We want peace in the Taiwan Strait. We'll adhere to the one China policy. Just don't attack Taiwan.
The president's also set to meet with leaders of Japan, Australia, and India on the second leg of his Asia trip. How could we see the president's comments about Taiwan impact these talks?
Well, I think it's very important that he made those comments in Asia with the Japanese prime minister and and after meeting with the South Korean president. It's very important that he made those comments where he did, given where Japan's located. And so I think it's also very important that he's meeting with the so-called Quad, with the Indian and Australian leaders too. The more that we can stand up and say, China will not change the regional status quo by force, and the more allies we have say the same thing, we stand up together, the more likely there is peace in the region.
All right, Dan Blumenthal, thank you very much.